The Game Awards dropped a lot of Sonic news and I'm easily the slowest channel to cover it. We got a glimpse of the new movie, which I uploaded my thoughts on a few days ago, and we also got a first proper trailer look at Sonic Frontiers. Well, a bit more than that 10-second long teaser on Sonic's birthday at least. There's been a bit of Twitter discourse about this one, as is par for the course with Sonic in general. We all know, after all, that the character really has had a rough transition into your social feeds. Alas, many are debating what inspired this game, but before we get to that, let's start by going over what they actually showed us. The trailer begins with an animated CG intro showing Sonic outrunning what appears to be some kind of neon illuminated technology. We hear a mysterious voice that calls out to him, but they obviously aren't present in the scene and the voice sounds somewhat distorted or otherworldly, like they're present but not in a physical form. Sonic is then engulfed in a pink flame-like aura with blue pixel undertones. This supercharges his boost and allows him to narrowly escape. I'm guessing this may be some kind of new boost game mechanic. We're then shown a few in-game shots of the new world Sonic finds himself in. This all looks like it's in-engine, it's very realistic looking for a Sonic game. Graphically, it is pretty impressive. This is a very nice looking world. There's lots of grass, mountains, trees, flowers and rocks scattered throughout, with the trailer putting emphasis on grand monuments, statues, towers, and what appears to be floating temples. The towers in particular feature these winding spiral ramps around them, looking like they were conveniently created for the hedgehog to run up them. Amongst these shots we get the classic open world camera view from behind Sonic, who is looking out and over his new playground. The trailer ends with Sonic coming up against a giant foe, as we overhear the same voiceover from earlier warn him in otherworldly fashion that it's too risky. The whole trailer is over relatively shortly, but builds up to its moments with a piano backing track with key beats revealing different parts of the overworld. That's the trailer in a nutshell. It honestly doesn't give much away about how the game is going to play. There's only loose indications of the plot. The trailer mentions holiday 2022, and I imagine it will be late holiday given the lack of information they've given us so far. Overall, I'm pretty excited about Sonic Frontiers. It's a wild departure from the last Sonic game, Sonic Forces, and I think that is 100% what the franchise needed. I mean, that's an understatement. It needed a shake-up. Those levels and settings and even the boost gameplay had been getting a little bit stale since Generations, so from the get-go, I'm mega thrilled about how different this is looking. As far as the difference in world design goes, I really like the decision to move into a more realistic open environment. We've seen a lot of Sonic fan games try out this open concept. Sonic Utopia does it within a slightly more Sonic-style world. I've mentioned that project a lot, but there's plenty of others that aim for similar things. I think Sonic Team have cottoned on to the fact that a lot of people want to play a Sonic game where the 3D world is truly 3D and not a blend of 2D, with the world acting as a playground to cultivate the character's fast-paced movement. Let's hope that that's what this is, and Sonic isn't going to laboriously walk through this environment in slow combat sections. As for the art direction of this world, I really like this more realistic kind of look that they've got going on here. It's focusing on nature, beautiful landscapes and ancient civilizations. If you've seen my Sonic Reboot video, you'll know where I'm coming from. It's cool seeing parts of the world that are built for Sonic to interact with, rather than the bog standard springs and boost pads. On the other end of the scale, despite the world being a huge departure, Sonic isn't. At a glance, his CG model is basically the same as it's been previously, and I will say that he does stick out a little bit from the environment during the one gameplay shot they showed off of him. I'm sure someone will be typing furiously right now to say, "Oh, it's okay when Mario does it though." And to that I say, yes, because Mario Odyssey, stylistically and artistically, was a game about Mario being in places that he was not supposed to be. The entire game was building off the juxtaposition between Mario and the world. It's the harsh contrast of his toon-like model against New Donk City or an actual T-Rex that make these moments so memorable, and despite the harsh contrast of his rendering model, does feature a more realistic set of textures when side by side with his world. I love this, whereas many Mario fans did not. With this example here, it doesn't feel like an artistic choice for Sonic to remain looking this way against a realistic backdrop. It feels more like a convenience of not wanting to change his design. He looks like a piece of plastic to me atop a realistic looking backdrop, and it doesn't quite look right. It honestly isn't a huge deal, but I can't shake that it's a bit of a missed opportunity. I don't want the Sonic movie to change up the Sonic game world massively, but they are really onto something with his design in those films. It's likely just because it's newer. The freshness is something that I really appreciate, and I really would have loved Sonic to get some more realistic textures for his fur, gloves and shoes. Now we've talked about the actual gameplay of the game, well, the lack of it shown, and we don't really know what to expect so far. I do have a hunch, however, that we haven't seen the end of boost gameplay and 2D gameplay, but I think they may be reserved for the interior sections that we're going to find as we traverse the map. Time will tell. I'm not necessarily against these elements being in here again, but I'm hoping that they're less gimmicky, they don't use wisps, they don't use power-ups, and they're just kind of built around Sonic's moveset. Now we'll get to the reason why I imagine a few of you clicked on the video. It seems like comparing this trailer to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is for some reason controversial take depending on what your social media is sharing with you. Let me be clear here guys, because I've seen and heard a lot of the arguments by this point. No, not every open world game should be compared to Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild did not invent the panning over the world shot, it didn't invent grass, and it didn't invent the piano. However, this trailer and what it presents makes it almost impossible to not draw at least a fair few parallels. The foes Sonic goes up against appears to be a form of ancient technology, with the neon elements harkening back to a majority of the foes in Breath of the Wild. The whole game seems to be harkening to a mixture of technology and nature, much like Breath of the Wild. While large-scale enemies have drawn more comparisons to Shadow of the Colossus, it's not hard to thematically link them to the much smaller Guardians. Yes, this shot has appeared in other open-world games, but the large towers you see throughout the world, whilst also having this shot be present, how can you not look at this and think of Breath of the Wild? As well as that, you've got the mysterious voiceover that we heard throughout the trailer. It seems to be acting as somewhat of a companion to Sonic. Though we don't know who it is yet and how this will factor into the game and its story, it's very reminiscent of the way Zelda communicates with Link whilst he adventures through Hyrule. It's worth pointing out that when we first heard this voiceover in Zelda, we didn't know who it was. And finally, the thing that kind of is the most obvious, the trailer is actually edited like a Breath of the Wild trailer. It uses piano as a backing track, which is pretty rare for a Sonic trailer, and it moves through the environments and the world in a very similar fashion. Let's just look at the trailers side by side.
Open your eyes.
When I first saw the trailer for Frontiers, I wasn't blown away because many of the things did feel relatively similar to me and what I'd seen in a Zelda game. Truly, that's not me trying to have an edgy take or go against the grain. That's not me being a games journalist from IGN. It's simply how I felt whilst watching it. In hindsight though, is it a fresh direction for Sonic? Hell yes, and that is something I can easily get behind. Ultimately, will this game be much like Breath of the Wild? Probably not. But it feels like it has deliberately positioned itself as a new take on that formula to attract a wide audience. Press has eaten it up, social media has eaten it up, it seems to be paying off with some buzz, and I'd imagine this is intentional. When you think about how much of a positive reception Breath of the Wild received, it's not bad company to be a part of really guys. It's a bloody Zelda game. But with that in mind, I look forward to the hate response commentary video that I'm sure this will receive. Alternatively, some kind of out of context Twitter video snippet would probably go amiss as well. So if you enjoyed today's video, please do these things. Guarantee YouTube isn't showing you all of my videos, so I'd definitely appreciate the help. Thanks for watching today. Let me know what you thought in the comment section and what you're thinking of Sonic Frontiers. Are you concerned? Are you excited? Do you think it looks like Breath of the Wild? Do you think I'm insane? Or do you need more information before you can actually judge? As always, a big shout out to my top tier patron, Proggy Froggy, and the rest of my subscribers on Patreon.